Crazy coworker. A female 26-year-old is texting me, a male 24-year-old telling me how much she is interested in me, trying to schedule to meet me after work, even though she knows I'm married and totally not interested. First of all, sorry, English is not my first language. So, it is as the title says. We work at the same office, she sits on the desk across from mine and is married as well as I am, and recently we have been talking more with each other, but nothing out of the ordinary. I have a good relationship with pretty much everyone here, except for Carl. Forget you, Carl, and your credit-stealing habits. Just cheap chat about regular stuff. How was the weekend? Look at this funny video. What do you think about this, that, etc. Then she started texting telling me that she is surprised about how easy it is to talk to me and how she enjoys how the conversation just flows. And I was, cool, me too, you are nice. Last week I left my car at the auto repair, since the brakes started to make a funny noise, and since she lives 2 blocks away from where I live, I asked for a ride home. We are in traffic going home, talking about regular stuff. Then she brings the subject again about how nice our conversations have been, and I agree. I have plenty of female friends, so this is not uncommon for me. Then she starts talking about how interesting it is that we have some different opinions about stuff, but we get along well anyways, and I am, yeah, sure. This is when I noticed things got freaking weird. She then says she started looking at me differently, and that she is attracted to me and put her hand on my thigh. I thanked her and told her she is nice and good looking, but we are just colleagues, we are both married, I respect her but I am not interested, so no way anything is going to happen. The rest of the ride was an awkward silence. When I got home, she kept texting me about how we are getting along so well and stuff, how she is not in the best moment in her marriage, etc. Then I received a lot of Instagram notifications of her mass liking my photos. I replied to the texts trying not to be rude, saying that maybe she should use her energy and time to resolve the problem she is having at home instead of this. At this point, I think she is crazy and the best way to avoid any problems is to just dismiss the crazy stuff she is saying and keep it cool and distant, since we work together in a 55-person company. She says it is not just physical attraction, and that she is jealous and cannot stand to see my wife's posts on Instagram with me. Red alert. And now she wants to meet me after work or during the lunch break out of the office, to talk about things. I have not told any of this to my wife yet, and I was not planning to do so, since she is way too stressed out recently with her job and some problems with her parents. So I would like to know from the almighty and all-knowing Reddit how to avoid this crazy lady getting more crazy and try cause problems at work and with my marriage. Wives of Reddit, if you were my wife, would you like me to tell you what is happening or just deal with it? My plan so far is to let her know again that I am not interested, just play it cool and dismiss what she is saying, slowly decreasing the number of interactions we have until everything fades into regular coworker stuff. Too long, did not read, crazy married female colleague wants me, but I just want her to stop being crazy. How to do that? Should I tell my wife, stressed about other stuff, what is going on or just deal with it? A relevant comment said, you need to tell 2 people. Your wife. Human resources. Show them the texts, including your requesting that she stop contacting you and hitting on you. You need to tell your wife and human resources because this could easily spiral out of control, and you need to be on top of the story. Also, you have got to trust your wife, man. Then, stop talking to this coworker about anything that is not directly work-related. Update 1. Sorry it took so long to update you. First of all, thanks for all the advice. Since it was the first time this happened to me in such a blunt way, I tried to handle it the best I could, but I was kind of lost about what to do. So thanks again, your advice really helped me. Following your advice, I got home yesterday, asked my wife to sit down and told her what was going on. I showed her all the messages and explained to her in detail what happened. She was really concerned, did not get mad or anything, she was just worried that, using her words, that bad person would ruin your career and stress you out. So I told her I would talk to my boss and the human resources next day, and so I did. I arrived earlier, scheduled the meeting with human resources and my boss. He went pale when I told him I would like to talk with him and human resources together. Later he said he thought I would quit, har har. I sat down with them, asked them to be prepared for a Mexican soap opera, and then showed them all the messages and explained to them all that happened. I told them I would like her to be moved to another desk, and that I trusted them to discipline her, so she would stop harassing me. They listened very quietly, nodding between the sentences and asking quick questions when in doubt. After I finished telling my tale, they said they would call her in to talk and address the subject, and that I could rest assured they would take all reasonable measures. I went back to my desk, got to work. I was going on a business trip to Ciudad de Mexico the following week, so I'm pretty busy. Then I heard the batshit crazy coworker phone ring. She looked at me with suspicion in her eyes when she got up and went to talk to the human resources. I tried to avoid eye contact and did not express anything. 1 hour later, she comes back crying, gets her purse and leaves. Everybody in the office was, what the forget just happened? My boss then called me into his office and told me what happened. They told her I told them what was going on, then she made a whole dramatic mess, telling she was in love with me and was fighting for what she thought was right, etc., etc., etc. My boss and the human resources person dismissed her silly arguments and told her she would need to keep things professional and move to another desk, otherwise they would have rescinded the work contract. And she preferred to get fired, so from now on she no longer works with me. It has been 2 weeks and so far nothing related to the subject happened, so I guess my life is back the way I like it, just peace and quiet. So, thanks again for all the advice. I think my thoughts were kind of clouded by this mess. You guys made me think clearly, so thanks. Too long. Did not read. Told my wife. She was awesome. Told boss and human resources. They were awesome. Crazy bad person was fired, which is awesome. I have my life back. Peace and quiet. A relevant comment said, they told her I told them what was going on, then she made a whole dramatic mess, telling she was in love with me and was fighting for what she thought was right, etc., etc., etc. Why? This woman is mentally ill. No joke. She is completely detached from reality if she is pulling stuff like this when facing both her boss and human resources. That is unhinged. Keep a sharp eye out. Original poster. She knows where you live and she is no longer constrained by the prospect of losing her job. Do not hesitate to call the police if she shows up. A relevant comment said, this. Original poster. If possible, have your boss and human resources give you something in writing about what happened in case you need it for documentation purposes with the authorities. You might also want to write out your own quick log of everything that happened and when while it is still fresh in your mind. Check into what your legal options might be just in case. I know it sounds like overkill, but trust me, you do not want to let your guard down just yet. This woman is potentially dangerous. A relevant comment said, I agree with all this. I would just add that the messages, etc., she left should be kept too. Better to not need them than to regret trashing them. OP commented, guys, thanks for this. I think I have been a little naive believing this would stop now. Following your comments here, I wrote my logs, made a backup of all the messages and requested the human resources for a formal letter explaining what happened. I was considering going to a police station and checking what I could do to get this registered, in case anything happens. But I do not think this is necessary, with all the other measures I took. Commenter asked, my question is, was she always this crazy, or are you that good-looking and charming that you drove her insane that she could not have you? OP responded, I have been working with her for 2 years but we never talked much before this happened, so I cannot claim anything for sure. But before all this drama she did not let any craziness show up. Now about myself you are making me feel embarrassed. I am not that self-aware. A relevant comment said, I must admit he does sound completely adorable and charming, no wonder she fell for him. A relevant comment said, maybe a bipolar or manic episode? Just speculating, but it is weird that it took her 2 years. Seems like it escalated quickly once she set her sights on you. OP commented, well, I am also known for not being very perceptive, and I never paid much attention to her, so it can be my fault on this point. Update 2. I know this subreddit only allows one update, and I waited 15 days to post this, but this is important so I guess an edit will not hurt anyone. Moderators, please let me know if this is not cool. Just got a call from her husband. Apparently she was crying all weekend and told him on Monday why she was fired. He told her he did not buy her version of the facts, since she contradicted herself in several points of her story. He told her to call the company to clarify what happened, and now he was calling me just to make sure. I told him everything and offered to show him the messages. We are going to meet in an hour in a coffee shop next to the office. He sounded hurt, but very clear-minded. I just told my boss, human resources, and my wife that I am going to meet him, and my boss offered to go with me. Man, I am surrounded by good people. Update 3. I just came back from the meeting with her husband. It was all very quickly. I arrived with my boss. He was waiting for me. I just showed him the messages in my phone, answered some questions about what happened, and that was it. He said he just wanted to be sure, because she deleted all of her messages. He said this was not the first time something like that happened and apologized for everything. He said she was seeing a psychologist in the past, but she had stopped going recently. I just said I did not want anything to do with it, that I came to meet him just to make clear I did not want any of this to happen, wished him the best and left. He just nodded and apologized again as I left. I am surprised with his reaction. Maybe he does not seem to be angry because they passed through something similar before. I do not know and really do not care. I have just had enough drama and I'm glad this was not another one. So, let us hope this is the end. Thanks for your support and advice on this.